latest pro wrestling news and results as other wrestling events. Let's go! Money in the Bank! Oh my God! I gotta do a little bit of a dance because this show was something else. What an entertaining pay-per-view from WWE, top to bottom. My goodness, what a show it was. Wow. Unquestionably, you can maybe argue with this because WWE has been on a roll with their pay-per-views this year, but this may have been the best pay-per-view from WWE, hands down, this year so far. From London, England, and one of the hottest crowds you are going to see this year. And again, comparatively to other WWE pay-per-views, we just had one a few months ago, Backlash in San Juan, Puerto Rico, that had an awesome crowd. Not Backlash, but Elimination Chamber in Montreal had an awesome crowd. These were all international shows outside of the United States, and it really makes for a different energy and vibe when they do these shows out of the United States. A lot of these pay-per-views this year have been very special because of that fact, and this one was absolutely no exception. Now, with that said, let's get into the numbers, what we know so far with Money in the Bank. Not a whole lot has come out. Some things that have not come out yet. The actual number in dollars of how much of a gate that they had for this pay-per-view. However, WWE has been quoted, Triple H said this at the press conference after Money in the Bank, that this was the highest grossing gate for a WWE arena pay-per-view in history. Now let that sink in for a second, because that covers a lot of ground. This is every WWE pay-per-view except stadium events like WrestleManias. This grows higher than even some WrestleManias that were arena shows too. Keep that in mind as well. So we haven't gotten an official number on that, but it's going to be way up there for sure. No question about it. Also, the night before at the same arena, the O2, the SmackDown event from the O2 was the highest grossing SmackDown event of all time. So big numbers by WWE here. Sold out both SmackDown and the Money in the Bank events from the O2, particularly for Money in the Bank. You got a little bit of conjecture on attendance numbers, but it was a sold out show. WWE on pay-per-view said 18,885. There's also been a number floating around by WWE of 18,167. And then WrestleTix actually claimed that the sold-out number was of a paid 17,617. So that, if you do the numbers on that, that's 500 less than what WWE is claiming, at least initially. So we'll see where the final numbers end up here. It's kind of tit for tat. It was a sold-out show. There was about 18,000 people there. Bottom line, it was an impressive number any way you slice it. Sponsorship record for Money in the Bank. Every one of these pay-per-views, you're seeing a different shifting of the way they're doing sponsorship. So a lot of times in these pay-per-views this year, we're seeing a really heavy focus on a particular sponsorship company. This one particularly on this show was Bud Light. They had Bud Light replays after every match. They had a toast to the Money in the Bank winners by Bud Light. So there was all kinds of sponsorship with Bud Light this time around. Merch set a record for Money in the Bank events live at the arena. Also the social media numbers, a record for Money in the Bank history. So that's all we got from a number standpoint so far. No real numbers on, non-WWE Network Peacock buy rate, anything like that. There wasn't any theaters showing Money in the Bank that I'm aware of. This is something only AEW is doing currently, as far as I know. So that's really about it for the numbers game so far, but there probably will be some more numbers coming up this week, and we'll give you all an update on that at later on down this weekend. We should have some final numbers on things. Some big takes from this pay-per-view. Obviously, the biggest one, a non-wrestling match way, was John Cena coming out, and a big, huge pop for John Cena. Nothing was announced ahead of time that he was going to be showing up. And one of his main reasons why he was showing up was to push hard the idea of WrestleMania in London. Now, when this would happen is anybody's guess. There really hasn't been anything official for WrestleMania 41 in 2025. So this very well could be the destination for WrestleMania 41, London, England. I would guess they would go back to Wembley Stadium, which is very interesting now that we know that AEW is all in, is at Wembley Stadium at about 65,000 attendance. This could be an opportunity for WWE to one-up AEW by having not one, but two nights of WrestleMania in Wembley Stadium, ultimately beating any record AEW is probably due on this event. I would think WWE would have no problem beating whatever record AEW would do for both attendance numbers as well as the actual dollar gate for the shows. So we'll see where they go with that. There was lots of conjecture, a lot of buzz, a lot of talk about WrestleMania coming to London sometime down the road off of the show. And I can't argue it. The crowd here, like I said, was fucking amazing. One of the best crowds of the year, and that would roll into one of the better crowds maybe ever in WrestleMania history, with a record-setting crowd that they could potentially even not only outdraw AEW's All In, but if they really jam-packed it the way they were wanting to, or the way I would assume they want to, they could potentially get close to breaking their own attendance record from Dallas in the 2016 WrestleMania. Time will tell on this, but wow, I like the idea of London hosting WrestleMania sometime down the road for sure. Tons of surprises on this show. Besides the John Cena appearance, we had Drew McIntyre returning on this show to get into it with Gunther, which is probably going to be setting up a match with Gunther and McIntyre at SummerSlam. Would not be surprised if Drew McIntyre is the guy to beat Gunther. Maybe that's why he's back. Just as a quick update, there has been word that his contract has not been renegotiated, so he's still planning to have his contract up at the beginning or near the end, or I should say near the end or the end of this coming year, 2023 year. So we'll see where they go with it. But Drew McIntyre, Gunther, SummerSlam, I think that's a virtual lock. How about the turn from Shayna Baszler turned on Ronda Rousey? Out of nowhere, holy shit, did not expect that. There was nothing set up in this direction at all. There was nothing teased, nothing at all. The crowd was incredibly shocked and surprised by this, as was I. The match was just kind of there, and then the turn happened, and it was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on here? Word after Money in the Bank is that apparently Ronda Rousey is on her way out of WWE, and this is kind of the last send-off of her leaving the company. There's not an exact timetable on when she's leaving, but one could assume it may be as soon as SummerSlam. If they set up Baszler and Rousey at SummerSlam and Rousey puts her over huge, that may be it for Ronda Rousey in WWE. Time will tell, but that seems to be the word, that there is some sort of timetable for Rousey leaving the company finally and going in her own direction. And honestly, since she's come back, you can tell her heart isn't into it. She really is not feeling what's going on here for whatever reason. Time's up, Ronda, apparently. Another big surprise, I think, was Damian Priest winning the Money in the Bank for the men's side. I think Io Shirai winning on the women's side was kind of to be expected. And going into this, I think everybody thought that either LA Knight was going to win the men's Money in the Bank, or we are going to see Logan Paul winning it. As it were, neither of those ideas ended up happening. I wonder if backstage, perhaps, because there was some turmoil with some people thinking Logan Paul should win. There was definitely some people in the back thinking LA Knight is the guy to win this. Triple H, in the press conference, made it very adamant that there's still an idea and a push ahead for LA Knight, so this didn't affect that. But there was different people in different places in the back, and I'm talking about Vince and Triple H maybe disagreeing on who should win this Money in the Bank. I could see them maybe taking both a step back and saying, what about Damian Priest? And that's what we got. Damian Priest winning the Money in the Bank. There was definitely some teasing and some hinting that him and Finn Balor are going to get at it. That the Judgment Day is going to implode here shortly, judging by what happened in the World Heavyweight Championship match with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Priest was out there teasing a cash-in and even kind of sort of distracted Finn Balor at the end, where he was not able to defeat Rollins. And I think ultimately Balor is going to blame it on Damian Priest being out there and kind of doing a quick kind of cash-in type of move on him right as he was about to get that coup de grace. I thought the booking in that was fucking chef's kiss for sure. And quite frankly, chef's kiss on many of these booking decisions on this show. A lot of the finishes, particularly the finish on the women's Money in the Bank match. Io Shirai winning in a fantastically booked women's Money in the Bank match that I personally feel like maybe one of the best women's Money in the Bank matches we've seen in history. This one, I think, took the cake with the way that this match was laid out. It was fantastic, and the way the finish was laid out was fucking phenomenal. Loved it. And then, what else can you say? On top of everything else that happened on this show, we finally got the Bloodline Civil War, a 30-minute match between the Usos, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Roman Reigns takes the pinfall loss. Jey Uso gets the win. I think we're going to see Jey and Roman at SummerSlam. Solo Sikoa didn't entirely walk away from Roman. There really wasn't much tease in this match with heat between Roman and Solo either, but I think that's probably the next step post SummerSlam is we're going to see that story come to fold a little bit more with Roman and Solo getting at it, getting at odds. We'll see where they go with it, but whatever the case, the first time in 3.5 years, Roman Reigns finally took a pinfall loss in a match. The Usos go over in the main event. Huge crowd pop. I even got on my seat at it because I was so enthralled with the finish. Wow. Just wow all around. The last time, as a matter of fact, that Roman Reigns lost a match in WWE, I was actually in attendance for that show. It was TLC, Minneapolis, Minnesota, December 2019, believe it or not. A long time ago. So it was a long time coming, and apparently the Fallout SmackDown, they're going to be doing some sort of court on the Tribal Chief Court of Roman Reigns or something like that, where they're going to be bringing that wedge even further, that Roman Reigns is maybe not cut out to be the Tribal Chief anymore. If you recall on SmackDown, the suggestion was maybe Solo Sikoa maybe becoming the new Tribal Chief, or who knows, maybe Jey Uso with that big win over Roman. Loved the booking on that match. The finish again, the last few minutes of it, where Jey kicks out by giving Roman a low blow just like Roman did to him back to 2020, I think it was. Was it way back then? It was a long time ago that happened. Man, this storyline has just been so full of everything. So many years. One of the best storylines WWE has ever done, hands down. All right, let's get into the matches. My thoughts, star ratings. Match number 1, Damian Priest won that Money in the Bank for the men's side. 20 minutes, 26 seconds against Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, Ricochet, LA Knight, Butch, and Santos Escobar. I thought everybody got their spots to shine in this match. The one spot, of course, we got to talk about that somehow, some way these guys didn't get too hurt was the botchy of that Spanish Fly with Ricochet and Logan Paul onto those tables. My God, every time I replay that, it doesn't get any more clinchier. I can't believe that neither guy didn't do something to like a concussion, hurt their neck, fractured something. Apparently they didn't, even though that spot was very much not set well. Both guys didn't have their footing on the ropes. And man, oh man, what a spot that was. LA Knight was super over in this one. I bet for sure that crowd had a lot of disappointment that LA Knight didn't go over here, but I still think there's something up more on the horizon with him. There's some rumors that maybe he's going to be working against Austin Theory at SummerSlam, so we'll see where they go with that. But great match to kick off Money in the Bank with the Money in the Bank men's match. Damian Priest winning. 4.5 stars I went on this one. Then we get to match 2, Women's Tag Championship. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez ended up winning back these women, now unified women tag championships from Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. And like I said, out of nowhere, in one of the biggest shock turns I have seen with no build-up, Rousey got turned on by Baszler, carried through the clutch, kind of took her out, and then basically Raquel Rodriguez got her finish on Rousey. Morgan got her finish on Rousey, and that was it. Tag champions. I went 3 stars on a 9-minute and 3-second match. Match wasn't much to it, but it was all about the turn for sure. Damian Priest did an interview in the back, just kind of teasing that he might cash in later and that he'd be out and about during that World Heavyweight Championship match. And indeed he was. We'll get to that in a little bit. Intercontinental Championship was next. Gunther over Matt Riddle, and this was not only a homecoming for Gunther, but a hell of a showcase match for him. He just straight up beat the shit out of Matt Riddle in this match. 7 minutes, 47 seconds of a 3.5-star match that I thought was really fun to watch. Even though it was kind of a borderline squash, the physicality in this match was pretty impressive. The way the finish was laid out, too, was nice. Gunther started beating and slapping on Matt Riddle's ankle, and then got him in an ankle lock for the win. Afterwards, Drew McIntyre shows up to a absolutely nuclear pop, gets in the ring. Gunther shoves McIntyre. McIntyre comes back with a headbutt, and his big finish with the kick. And that was it for this one. McIntyre's back, and he is ready to take on Sheamus one-on-one, presumably at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. All right, match 4. Cody Rhodes over Dominic Mysterio. This was goofy because I think, one, this was kind of like the low point of the show, which if this was the low point, this was a sign that this was a really good show. I went 3 stars, 8 minutes, 37 seconds. Pretty straightforward match. This would be a match you'd probably see not only on Raw, but maybe in a bigger spot on Raw with more time. But as it were, only got about 8.5 minutes. What was weird about this match was on SmackDown, the announcers were claiming that this match was going to be the main event. And I questioned that in the predictions for Money in the Bank. I think a lot of people did. It didn't make any sense when you had the Bloodline stuff going on, when you had both Money in the Bank matches as potential main events. Obviously, they went with the Bloodline tag as they should have. But why they claim that this was a main event on any level is beyond me. Very confusing. I'm wondering if maybe it was a Vince move in the back. They were just trying to maybe angle Cody and Dom to be last, and perhaps try to get Lesnar in as well to run in at the end to lay out Cody to end Money in the Bank. I don't know. Glad it didn't happen, whatever the case. Very pedestrian match. 3 stars, 8.5 minutes. Cody Rhodes over Dominic. Then we got this segment with John Cena. He came out to an insane pop again. Grayson Waller came out. They got into it on the mic. This one a little bit long. Cena finally gave the FU to Grayson Waller, and that was about it for this one. But it was a definite surprise segment that the fans really took to. Cena was super over here, no question about it. Really pushing, like I said before, WrestleMania in London. Match 5, we're back to another Money in the Bank. This is for the women. Io Shirai wins over Trish Stratus, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Zelina Vega, and Zoe Stark. 18 minutes and 4 seconds. I went 4.5 stars, similar to the men's Money in the Bank. I thought it delivered, and I think this was one of the best women's Money in the Bank ever. Particularly the last 5 minutes of this match was great. I thought everybody had their moments of really looking awesome out there. I thought Zoe Stark really came off looking particularly really strong. The wedge between Bayley and Io Shirai was clearly developed in this match. And in fact, near the end, Bayley kind of straight up turned on Io Shirai to try to get the win. And then Io Shirai outwitted Bayley by handcuffing Bayley and Becky Lynch to the same ladder. She climbed up to win the match. What excellent booking on this match. I wish I could have found out, they hadn't released yet, who all the road agents were for these matches, as they usually do. They haven't revealed that yet. But whoever laid this match out, fucking kudos to you, sir, or women. Whoever did it, my God, it was so good. So good. Io Shirai winning Money in the Bank. We're obviously going to see a match with her and Bayley down the road. And then 100% chance so far in the history of Money in the Bank that the women have successfully cashed in, and I think this would definitely be the case here. Io Shirai needs that elevation, and that would absolutely do it with a win over Bayley and getting Money in the Bank soon after that. Match 6, World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins over Finn Balor. The only thing I can say about this match was it was short. It felt a little short. It went 12 minutes and 31 seconds, but in typical World Championship matches, this did not feel like it was to that point that maybe they wanted it to be. I went 3 3/4 stars. It was still a pretty solid match. I don't know if it was the best match these two have ever had, but it was pretty good. The Damian Priest factor was here for sure, where he was teasing cashing in at certain times, both when Rollins was pretty much laid out and he was considering teasing it to make it a triple threat. And then when Finn Balor had Rollins beat, was going to get that coup de grace, Damian Priest gets out of his chair acting like he's about to do something, distracts Balor. Balor tries for the coup de grace, misses, curb stomp from Seth Rollins, and that's your finish on this one. Like I said, 3.5 stars. Solid work, but something kind of missing a little bit on this match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had a promo. They were up in a skybox in the arena of the O2. They were about to watch the main event unfold and see what happens. And what happened was Roman Reigns took the pin in the main event. Bloodline Civil War, the Usos over Roman and Solo, 32 minutes and 5 seconds. Whew. I have to say, I feel like this match could have been accomplished with half the time in a much tighter match. As it were, it dragged on a little bit in the first half, and it is what it is. The show really didn't drag too much, but this match was a little long in the tooth. I went 4 stars. I think if the match would have been like 20 minutes instead of 32, probably would have rated it higher. But the drama was certainly there in this match. The stuff at the end, the way they got to that finish was once again a tremendous kudos to whoever laid this match out. And I'm betting it's Michael Hayes. He usually gets the nod on main events for WWE. Damn, this was so good because they brought back a lot of stuff from previous matches with the stuff with the Usos and Roman from way back when, like I said. Just the attention to detail here is so awesome, and that's what makes the storyline so great. Roman taking the fall, the crowd lost their mind. This is definitely an elevation for Jey Uso, I would consider it, and a match with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. We'll see if they book that this week. I would think it's a virtual lock at this point that we're going to see Jey and Roman at SummerSlam. Maybe we'll get something like Solo Sikoa as some sort of referee or something, where Solo finally breaks away from Roman, or he leans in a little more still. Who knows? That's the thing with this storyline. You really can't tell where it's going. month to month, week to week. Just such a good job in developing the storyline, and it was a nice way to continue to tell the story here by finally showing some vulnerability in Roman Reigns and having him take the fall and the loss in this match. Boy, overall, Money in the Bank was one of the best WWE pay-per-views, not only really of all time, I feel. Obviously, the best Money in the Bank pay-per-view probably WWE's ever done. Probably one of the best one of the best WWE pay-per-views of the year. And like I said, maybe I would say for sure in the top 5 of the best WWE pay-per-views ever. Just throwing it out there, folks. Throw your comments in this rant. Where do you think Money in the Bank stands in all-time WWE pay-per-views? I'm curious because I can't be the only one that thought this was a fucking A-plus pay-per-view, top to bottom. Wow. Unfucking believable. All right, coming up. Next, we got the start of Top 10 Takes, looking back at 2023 so far. We're about dead smack in the middle of the year. Now's the time to take a look back at the best matches of the year so far, the best mega events, that means pay-per-views, premium live events, special events in wrestling. Taking a look back at the best moments, including returns, debuts, angles, promos, and the best MVPs of this year so far in wrestling. All part of looking back at 2023 Top 10 Take style on July 4th. Right here at WrestleMania, baby! So come on back for some Top 10 Takes on July 4th. See you then!